She didn't notice him right away. The hum of the floor buffer echoed softly across the aisle as Owen Grayson moved past the freezer section, dressed in a faded, everyday save uniform. He wore a blank name tag and kept his head down, hands steady on the cleaner like just another invisible part-timer on the late shift. Then he heard it. A muffled sob, quick, sharp, the kind that breaks free when someone's been holding it in too long. He turned slightly. Near the end of the checkout lanes, a young cashier crouched low, her face buried in her hands. Her headset dangled around her neck, apron still on, like she left the register and just collapsed. She pulled out her phone with shaking fingers. "I'm trying, I swear I am. But if I miss one more shift, they'll cut me again. I haven't paid the electric bill. And now they're saying eviction. What am I supposed to do?" A pause. "No, I didn't tell them. What's the point? HR says we need to be flexible. But if I'm not on call 24/7, I'm out. That's how it works here. You're either invisible or you're gone." Another pause. And then she said something that hit Owen like a gut punch. "I lost my mom. I lost our house. And I'm losing myself. I don't even know why I keep doing this. I just want one person to notice me. Even if it's a guy who wrote these damn policies." A small, bitter laugh escaped her. "But guys like that don't come to places like this." Owen's grip on the buffer tightened. She didn't know who he was, but she was talking about him. And if you've ever had to keep your head down at work, because speaking up might cost you everything, you need to hear this story. Her name was Alyssa, and she had no idea that her life was about to shift, because a man pretending to clean the floor that night was the very one who designed the system grinding her down. It hadn't always been this way. Everyday Save started in a dusty warehouse in Dayton, Ohio. Back then, Owen knew every cashier by name. He'd mopped the floors himself after closing, stocked the shelves by sunrise. But as the company grew, hundreds of stores, thousands of employees, things changed. HR was outsourced. Scheduling algorithms replaced supervisors. Policies were drafted by consultants, not co-workers. One of them was called the Flex Hours Policy. It was sold to Owen in a boardroom as a brilliant solution. Let team leads optimize coverage, they'd said. Reward the most available employees with the most hours. Less absence. More retention. It made sense on paper. But in practice, it meant that if someone needed time off to care for a sick child or take a second job, they got flagged. Low availability became a label, and then hours got cut. Quietly, permanently. Owen had signed off on it. Barely remembered doing so. But now he was watching it in real time, grind down a real person. The next morning, he returned to the store. Same outfit, same alias. Tim. The manager didn't question him. HQ often sent extra help near holiday. He wiped counters, cleaned the break room microwave, restocked toilet paper. But he was watching Alyssa. She showed up early, not by much, just enough to prove she cared. Her shirt was neatly pressed, though faded. Her shoes were worn. Her smile was polite but strained. She served customers with practiced ease, never slipping. But Owen noticed the way she lingered by the automatic doors between rushes, watching, waiting, maybe hoping. Later, in the cramped break room, she sat with a steaming cup of instant noodles, scrolling her phone. Then a buzzed out a message. She stared at it, then turned the screen over. He took out the trash just to sneak a look. Final notice. Rent 3 days overdue. That night, he didn't sleep. Instead, he opened his laptop and pulled up her employee file. Alyssa Thompson, Store 242. Level 1 Cashier. Impeccable record at on time. Positive customer feedback. No complaints. But the shift history told another story. 28 hours a week, then 22, then 16, then just 8. The drop began 6 weeks ago, right after she used her 2 grace days to care for her dying mother. That was all it took. An algorithm had flagged her. No human ever looked twice. The next day, he listened to her co-workers. A shy teen mentioned Alyssa used to work a ton until the flex rule hit her. A gray-haired woman whispered, "They don't fire you. They just starve your hours till you quit." That afternoon, he finally approached her. "You were real kind to that customer earlier. You always that patient." She shrugged. "It's part of the job. You ever think about doing something else?" She looked at him, tired but calm. "Used to. Now, I just want a job that doesn't make me feel like disappearing." That night, Owen wrote a resignation speech. Not from the company, but from the system. The next morning, he came back. Not as Tim the Temp, but as Owen Grayson, CEO. No disguise this time. Just a crisp suit, no tie. Sleeves rolled. The district manager trailed behind, already sweating. The store manager looked like he'd seen a ghost. Owen asked the team to gather near aisle 3. Alyssa hesitated by her register until he looked her way. "You too," he said gently. She stepped forward, uncertain. He cleared his throat. "I'm Owen Grayson. I started Everyday Save 21 years ago with a folding table and a dream. I've scrubbed floors, I've stocked shelves. I know what it means to hustle. I also thought we could grow without losing our soul. I was wrong." Silence. He held up a folder. "This is Alyssa Thompson's employee record." He opened it. Perfect attendance. Excellent reviews. But after 2 missed shifts, when her mother was in hospice, her hours were slashed. No manager stepped in. No one asked why. Because no one was looking. He faced Alyssa directly. "I heard what you said the other night. That you felt invisible. That this system made you feel like vanishing." She blinked. "I didn't know anyone was listening." "I know. That's the problem." Then to the room. "This isn't just about Alyssa. It's about all of you. The moms, the students, the people holding on. We build a machine that doesn't see pain. That ends today." He dropped the folder on the floor. Gasps. "Effective immediately. The flex scheduling policy is suspended. All changes must be reviewed by a person with a name and a heart." The district manager opened his mouth. Owen raised a hand. "No, you've had your shot. Now I lead." He turned back to the team. "There will be no retaliation for speaking up. Not anymore. If you're hurting, we will see you." He reached into his briefcase. "This sign goes up today." He handed it to Alyssa. "This is a human workplace. If you're tired, you can sit. If you're struggling, you can speak. You will not be punished for being human." Her hands trembled as she held it. It wasn't a raise. IT wasn't justice, but it was a start. That night, something shifted. Marcia brought Alyssa tea. The teen helped her stock. Even the manager apologized. And Owen? He stayed. He cleaned a spill, chatted with the night crew, sat with Marcia while she talked about her son, laid off last winter. He listened. At the end of the week, he sent out a company-wide memo. Subject: I was wrong. To every employee at Everyday Save. Last week, I went undercover at store 242. I met a cashier surviving on 8 hours a week, punished for caring for her dying mom. I watched her smile through grief, and I realized efficiency without compassion is not a strength, it's failure. We're changing that. Managers will be retrained, HR will be rebuilt, and every voice, especially the quiet ones, will be heard. Because real people don't live in spreadsheets. They live with grief, rent, kids, and strength you can't always measure. And we owe them better. 3 months later, Alyssa still worked at store 242, but now she led a new initiative, Voices First, a rotating council of employees that reviewed every major HR decision before it rolled out. And above every break room bulletin board, in every Everyday Save across the country, that sign still hung. You will not be punished for being human. And people noticed. Turnover dropped. Morale rose. Customers lingered. Smiles came easier. And Owen? He stopped managing like a CEO. He started leading like a person again. If you've ever felt invisible at work, if you've ever stayed silent to survive, this story is for you. And if it moved you, don't scroll past it. Someone else might be standing at a register tonight, hoping someone sees them,